You're not here by accident. Something deep inside you has guided you to this very moment, to this video. Once you finish watching, you'll start to understand why. Perhaps lately, you've been feeling overwhelmed, as if your life is spiraling out of control with uncertainty and challenges that seem to lack any purpose or clarity. But what if I told you that all of this might be the clearest sign that you are about to enter the most powerful, beautiful, and meaningful chapter of your life? What many people fail to realize is that the universe communicates with us in subtle ways before making any major changes. It sends us signs, gentle nudges, and signals long before a huge shift takes place. The sad truth is that most people fail to recognize these signals for what they truly are. They misinterpret them as bad luck, misfortune, or signs to give up, right before their breakthrough happens. But you're here, and that alone shows you're paying attention. Today, I want to share with you 7 powerful signs that your life is on the brink of a profound transformation. If even 3 of these resonate with you, get ready, because a new reality is already beginning to unfold. The first sign is when you start questioning everything you thought you knew about life. If recently you've found yourself reflecting on your beliefs, values, goals, or even your sense of purpose, it's not just a coincidence. It means something deep within you is shifting. This transformation may not be visible on the outside yet, but it's very real. The old mental structures you once relied on are starting to fall apart. And though it may feel uncomfortable, that discomfort is a sign of awakening. It's the universe urging you to reassess everything you've taken for granted, to reconsider your reality, your relationships, and your direction. This isn't a crisis, it's an awakening. The universe is helping you dismantle old illusions so that you can embrace something much bigger than what you've known. This shift in perspective is necessary for your growth, showing you that your mind is ready to embrace new ideas and step into a future that aligns with your higher self. These questions: who am I really? What do I truly want? Am I living a life that honors my soul's calling? Are not mere philosophical ponderings. They are doorways to something new. When you walk through them, there's no turning back. The world around you may start to feel unfamiliar. Things that once made perfect sense might lose their meaning. And the certainties you once held dear may begin to disappear. While it may feel like you're losing your footing, it's actually a sign that you're finding your path. This disorientation is the universe's way of clearing the way for the real you to emerge, free from old roles, expectations, and outdated stories. It's like a spiritual cleansing, a death of the false self so the authentic self can rise. The universe begins to strip away masks, lies, and outdated identities, leaving you raw, honest, and real. Even though this process feels like chaos, it's actually creation. You are being rebuilt into a stronger, wiser version of yourself, more attuned to your true essence. Remember, questioning everything is not a detour, it's the start of a new journey. You're not losing your way. You're finally beginning to see it. Yes, it's scary when everything familiar falls apart. But that falling apart makes space for something far greater. You're not broken, you're breaking free. It's not just your beliefs that are being challenged. Your relationships, habits, and routines may also begin to change. People who no longer resonate with your energy may start to drift away. Situations that once brought you comfort might start to feel suffocating. This is because you're shedding what no longer aligns with your new frequency. Think of it as an internal detox, where only what nourishes your soul remains, and everything else is released. Yes, this might mean letting go of comfort zones, familiar pain, and the illusion of control. It's hard because these things may have once felt like a part of your identity, but they were only tools for a different phase of your life. And what comes next? That's where the magic begins. On the other side of this upheaval lies a new version of you, more resilient, more conscious, and more aligned with your deepest truth. You'll begin to feel it, a subtle yet powerful sense that something big, something extraordinary, is about to happen. That feeling is not a coincidence. It's your intuition guiding you. It's the universe signaling that your consciousness is expanding and that you're letting go of the limitations you once imposed on yourself. As those internal walls crumble, something beautiful will start to take shape. New dreams, new purposes, and new energy. It's like clearing the weeds from a garden to make room for vibrant, blossoming life. And here's where the magic truly unfolds. You'll start receiving answers, but not in the way you expect. They might come through chance encounters, synchronistic events, a stranger's words, or a book that somehow finds its way into your hands. These are the signs that the universe is supporting you, leading you to exactly where you need to be. Stay open, stay alert, because the next chapter of your life is just beginning. At times, certain moments may appear random, but they carry messages meant just for you. Even if you don't have all the answers yet, you can sense that you're on the right path. The act of questioning itself is a sign of growth and change. In motion, it's not a sign of weakness, but rather of wisdom. This is the kind of wisdom that surfaces when you stop pretending and begin to truly listen to yourself, your soul, and the universe around you. As you continue to embrace this process, you will start to notice that the world around you begins to mirror the changes occurring within you. That's the beauty of alignment. Your reality shifts, not because the world is changing, but because you are. You've raised your frequency, opened your eyes, and reclaimed your power. So, don't be afraid of the questions. Instead, welcome them, embrace the uncertainty, and allow yourself to feel uncomfortable, because it signifies growth. Every great transformation begins with feelings of confusion and doubt, that sense of everything falling apart. But in reality, what you're experiencing is everything falling into place. When you surrender to this process, you'll start recognizing the signs the universe has been trying to show you all along. They've been waiting for you to be ready, and now you are. As you move through this process, you may start to feel a growing disconnection from your past. This is one of the clearest and most powerful signs that you are on the brink of a new chapter in your life. It's not an abrupt change. Rather, it's a slow and subtle shift that happens deep within. At first, it may be so quiet that you don't even notice, but gradually, you'll begin to realize that things that once excited you or gave you purpose no longer have the same effect. Hobbies, conversations, and routines that once filled you with joy might now feel empty. It's as if you're seeing the world through new eyes that no longer find the same things captivating. The people you once felt close to and the places that used to feel like home now feel distant or almost foreign. The emotions tied to these experiences fade, leaving behind a quiet sense of detachment. This shift is not just a passing mood or a temporary phase. It's much deeper, more significant. It's your soul guiding you forward, signaling that you've outgrown certain moments, relationships, and even versions of yourself. Your perspective on life is changing, and as it shifts, so do your goals, desires, values, and connections. The things that once formed the foundation of your identity no longer feel like they truly belong to you. They feel like echoes of a past life, remnants of a person you no longer are. It can be a confusing experience. You may not know exactly where you're heading or who you're supposed to become, but you know, without a doubt, that you cannot return to what once was. The old life no longer fits the new you. This transition is unsettling. The routines, the job that once defined your worth, the social groups you were once part of, and even the thoughts that guided your daily life are all beginning to unravel. And while this can feel like a loss, it's actually one of the strongest signs of personal transformation. It's your inner self making room for something new, shedding old layers so that a more aligned version of yourself can emerge. Letting go of the familiar is never easy. There's a grieving process when parts of your identity, which once felt permanent, are released. But this disconnection you're feeling isn't meant to punish you, it's preparing you. It's clearing the way for what's next. Think of it as a space in the forest that time and change have cleared, ready to nurture new life. You may not see it yet, but something is quietly growing beneath the surface. The disinterest in your past is a sacred message from the universe. It's telling you, even if you don't understand it yet, that something new is on its way. This isn't about abandoning everything you've known. It's about letting go of the things that have served their purpose. It's about loosening your grip on attachments that no longer support your growth. You're entering a phase of life where you're being called to release the roles you've played, the patterns you've followed, and the masks you've worn. You're being invited to step into a life that reflects the person you are becoming, not the person you once were. This transformation may not always make sense, and it may feel uncertain. It may feel like the ground is shifting beneath you. But in that uncertainty, there's a promise of something beautiful: expansion, rebirth, and the opportunity to rediscover yourself in ways you never imagined possible. The sense of disconnection you're experiencing is just the beginning. At the start, beneath the surface, a series of internal transformations begin to unfold. You begin to notice how your beliefs are shifting, particularly those limiting ones you had never questioned before. The version of you that once accepted certain truths, lived according to outside pressures, and followed the crowd starts to fade away. You find yourself questioning things you once considered fixed and unquestionable. Perhaps you begin to look inward more often, realizing that the external world no longer holds all the answers. You might sense that your old structures are crumbling, not in a way that harms you, but in a way that frees you. in this new space. It might even feel challenging to define who you are. But despite the uncertainty, one thing is clear: you are no longer the same. You are evolving, expanding, and that old skin no longer fits. A deep yearning to be reborn stirs inside you, to step into a bolder, freer, and more authentic version of yourself. While you may not know exactly what that version looks like, you can feel it calling you. As this sense of disconnection grows, fear may begin to creep in. Fear of letting go, fear of losing what's familiar, and fear of stepping into the unknown. But along with that fear comes liberation. There is freedom in no longer needing to be who you once were. There's strength in releasing what no longer serves your highest path. The emptiness you may feel inside is not truly emptiness, but potential. It's the birthplace of new beginnings, signaling that something far more aligned with your soul is about to emerge. It might be uncomfortable. Growth often is, but that discomfort is the doorway to clarity. And with time, clarity comes. You stop looking outside yourself for guidance and stop relying on others to define your path. Instead, you turn inward. You begin to trust your inner wisdom, your intuition, your heart, and your soul. The noise of the world starts to fade, replaced by a steady, quiet voice within you. That voice becomes your compass, your truth. You stop holding onto the past, trying to revive what's no longer relevant. Instead, you open yourself to new possibilities, allowing yourself to grow into someone new. Each day brings you closer to an authentic version of who you truly are, not the version shaped by fear or obligation, but the one that's always been there beneath the surface. So, if you find yourself drifting away from the person you once were, if your old life no longer feels like it fits, if the people, habits, and dreams that once seemed vital now feel distant, know this: your soul is guiding you. It's leading you to a new beginning. And know, this disconnection is not the end. It's the quiet, sacred start of the transformation you were always meant to undergo. The real journey is just beginning. You may find yourself questioning what you once thought was important. Have you ever noticed that things that once felt essential no longer hold the same significance? It's as if you're seeing life from a completely different perspective. Concerns that used to dominate your thoughts begin to lose their grip. Material goals, other people's opinions, and social expectations start to fade in the presence of something far more meaningful. You begin to ask yourself what truly matters to you. Career, money, fame, they all seem like small pieces of a much larger puzzle you couldn't see before. You realize that the real purpose of life isn't about meeting society's standards, but about living in alignment with what genuinely resonates within you. It's as though a veil has lifted, allowing you to see beyond the surface and into the essence of who you are. This inner questioning may not always be easy. It can stir up uncertainty and even make you feel lost in a sea of conflicting ideas. But that very space of not knowing is fertile ground for growth. It's where new answers start to arise, answers that come from within, not from the voices of others. Life begins to show you that fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating things, but from the experiences that enrich your soul and the relationships that nourish your spirit. This questioning might even lead to a complete reevaluation of your purpose. Why are you here? What do you really want to experience? The answers don't always come right away. But what's certain is that you're beginning to open up to new possibilities. What once felt indispensable is losing its hold, making way for new passions, new interests, and a deeper longing to connect with what truly matters. This is a clear sign that you're on the verge of a radical transformation. The universe is guiding you toward what truly fulfills you, toward your authentic path. And though it might feel confusing at first, this is actually the doorway to a more conscious life, one that's aligned with your deepest essence. This shift in perspective usually happens slowly, but once it starts, you realize it can no longer be ignored. You notice that the things that once gave you a sense of security now feel hollow. You no longer feel the need to follow society's definition of success. It's as if a new energy is taking hold, pulling you toward a life that's more authentic and less influenced by external expectations. The passions and interests you once set aside are suddenly demanding your attention again. You might be rediscovering hobbies you forgot about, or even exploring new areas you hadn't considered before. You're no longer focused on fitting into a predefined system or following a conventional path. Instead, you're seeking a way forward that aligns with your true values and purpose, the one that only you can define. This questioning of your direction can sometimes bring a sense of isolation. Initially, you may feel distanced from old friends or your usual social circle. This is a natural part of stepping away from outside expectations to uncover your inner truth. However, this loneliness is temporary, and it becomes the space where self-awareness can bloom. Over time, you'll begin to connect with people who resonate with your evolving worldview, who share your new perspective. It's like a reset, where what no longer serves you starts to fade, and a renewed energy links you to what truly matters. This process of reflection is not a crisis, but an awakening one that prepares you for something more significant, deeper, and more aligned with your purpose. Although the journey may seem uncertain at first, you'll come to realize it's exactly what you needed to grow into the best version of yourself. The fourth sign is that you become more attuned to your intuition. This shift happens when you're on the cusp of a major life change. It's as though a new clarity within you is activated. Suddenly, life makes more sense. Everything feels infused with deeper meaning, and every choice seems natural. What once felt confusing now becomes clear. You no longer feel lost in a sea of thoughts. Something within you begins guiding you, showing you the way forward. Intuition is that inner voice or gut feeling that tells you what to do, even without all the answers or logical explanations. It's a sense of knowing that something is in alignment with your true self, even when you can't explain why. The key is learning to trust this inner wisdom. As you begin to do so, you'll notice that making decisions becomes easier because you're acting from a place that is more connected to who you truly are. This awakening of intuition doesn't happen overnight. It often starts with small nudges, like a feeling that leads you to take a different path or a sense of calm during moments of uncertainty. At first, it may be hard to recognize, especially since the noise of daily life tends to drown out that inner voice. But as you give it space and start listening more closely, you'll notice it growing stronger and clearer, intuition can manifest in various ways, sometimes as a physical sensation, other times as a thought that comes out of nowhere, or as an inexpressible certainty about a person or situation. As you grow more in tune with it, you'll realize that your choices aren't purely logical anymore. They come from a deeper knowing that resonates with your essence. It won't matter if you don't fully understand why something draws you in or repels you, because the certainty you feel is the beginning of a transformative process unfolding. By continuing to nurture this connection with your intuition, you'll notice how events that once seemed random or chaotic now seem to follow a pattern, as if the pieces of a puzzle are finally coming together. Your life begins to flow more naturally and smoothly, as if you're in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what you're meant to do. You no longer feel the need to overanalyze every move because you trust that your intuition is guiding you in the right direction. This awakening also allows you to notice things you once missed. You become more adept at reading between the lines, sensing the energy of people and situations, and understanding the deeper truths behind what's happening around you. It's often not about what is being said, but what is being felt. You become more open to these subtle energies. The amazing thing about this sign is that the more you trust your intuition, the more you'll experience a deep sense of peace and security. Even if you don't have all the answers, and even though the future remains a mystery, the feeling of being in alignment with your purpose is so strong that nothing will sway you from your path. Fear and doubt lose their hold over you because your decisions no longer stem from fear, but from a deep understanding of yourself and the universe. This marks the beginning of a phase of self-discovery and empowerment. As you continue learning to listen to your intuition, you'll find that the choices you make bring you closer to your true essence. Life begins to flow with a grace you never imagined, simply because you're now in harmony with your true rhythm. You begin to feel more drawn to personal growth as this new chapter of your life unfolds. Your mind expands in ways you never anticipated. You're no longer satisfied with what you once knew or the version of yourself you once accepted. There's now a strong desire to evolve, to improve, and to push your boundaries. This inner drive for growth starts guiding your thoughts and actions. You find yourself constantly seeking new knowledge, exploring different avenues to expand your understanding, engaging with new experiences, whether through courses or conversations that challenge your thinking, draws you in with an undeniable hunger for growth. It's like you're eager to evolve into a more genuine and powerful version of yourself, wanting to learn more and discover parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. You start to sense that there's no time to waste, and the moment to reinvent yourself has arrived. It's not just about curiosity, but also about seeking alignment with your values and purpose. A drive to feel whole and connected. This desire for growth opens you up to transformative energy, making you feel like anything is possible if you're willing to change. You start letting go of outdated beliefs, embracing new perspectives that push you forward. Personal development shifts from a wish to a necessity, reflecting in every part of your life. The clear, predictable path you once followed now feels uncertain, as though you need to find new directions, new ways of thinking and acting. Personal growth becomes a priority, and you're ready to embark on a journey that reshapes your inner self as much as your outer world. You begin asking deeper, more meaningful questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? What do I truly want from life? These questions mark a period of mental expansion, signaling that you're ready to break free from the comfort zone that once felt enough. You're not merely seeking answers, but desiring a transformation that will elevate your awareness to a higher level, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, along with intellectual growth. There's an emotional and spiritual pull toward healing. You start confronting old wounds and beliefs that no longer serve you, recognizing that releasing the past is necessary for welcoming the new. Although this process can be tough, it becomes one of the most exciting parts of your journey toward a more authentic self. As your life shifts, your focus changes to what truly matters: growth, connection, authenticity far outweighing trivial distractions. You're ready to move beyond the mundane and make changes that reflect your deepest desires. You start surrounding yourself with people who also yearn for growth and transformation, challenging you to think differently and explore new ideas. No longer seeking external validation or clinging to outdated beliefs, you're pursuing a life that aligns with your true self. A new sign appears, a strong desire to break free from toxic relationships and situations that no longer align with who you are becoming. Things that once felt familiar now seem disconnected from your evolving values and inner peace. You're outgrowing these dynamics, realizing they've been keeping you stagnant, not helping you thrive. A powerful awareness emerges that you no longer want to stay in relationships or situations that drain your energy. You're ready to release anything that doesn't support your growth, and you no longer fear the uncertainty of change, because the discomfort of staying stuck outweighs the fear of the unknown. This shift isn't about rejecting others with resentment. It's about loving yourself enough to seek peace and protect your energy. You understand that to become the best version of yourself, you must step away from what dims your light. Letting go of these toxic connections may be painful, but it's a powerful act of self-liberation. A declaration that your well-being matters. You're no longer willing to sacrifice your heart, time, or energy for comfort or fear. As you release the past, something beautiful happens. You start attracting people and experiences that align with your true self, connections that nurture your spirit instead of draining you. Slowly, new, authentic relationships replace the superficial ones. Relationships that support your growth and add real value to your life. You stop settling for half-hearted connections and start welcoming love that sees, hears, and respects you. This marks the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with genuine, life-enhancing bonds that prepare you for an extraordinary stage in your life. You're entering a phase where peace takes priority, your heart is secure, and your soul is free to expand, love, and live without limitations. This is more than just a change. It's a rebirth. At this stage, you'll feel a strong detachment from things that no longer serve you. As you move into this new chapter, you begin to notice that things that once felt essential, meaningful, or irreplaceable no longer hold the same weight. Something deep inside has shifted. Your perspective is evolving. Your energy is transforming, and what once defined your life now starts to fade away. Relationships that used to feel significant might now feel distant or strained. Activities that once brought you joy might now feel repetitive or empty. Even familiar places that once gave you comfort could seem foreign or disconnected. This doesn't mean your past was a mistake or that your decisions were wrong. It simply means you are evolving, shedding layers of an old identity that no longer fits, and moving into a more aligned version of yourself. As this happens, certain aspects of your previous life naturally start to fall away. At first, this disconnection may feel uncomfortable. You might experience confusion, sadness, or nostalgia. You may question why you no longer enjoy things or why you feel distant from people you once loved. Despite the discomfort, however, there's a quiet but unmistakable sense of freedom. It's like breathing fresh air after being stuck in a room for too long. While you may not fully understand the changes, something deep inside knows it's time to let go. You'll start to notice that habits, routines, or even ways of thinking no longer align with who you are becoming. What once held your attention now hardly affects you. Old fears lose their hold, and constant worries feel less urgent. Though this may bring a sense of loss, it also brings peace. There's a sacred silence that follows the release of the old and an inner calm that wasn't there before. By letting go, you're creating space for the new not just externally, but internally, aligning more deeply with who you truly are. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process unfolding quietly day by day. You might wake up one day and realize that something that once defined your identity no longer excites you. Or you may find that conversations with people who once inspired you now leave you drained. This isn't about betrayal or rejecting your past, it's about honoring your growth. You're recognizing that evolution often means outgrowing certain things. Your awareness of what truly matters deepens, and your inner compass is recalibrating. To move forward, you must release what no longer feeds your soul, whether it's a job, a friendship, a belief, or even a version of yourself that no longer feels true. This is a sacred process, part of your becoming. While it may not always be easy, it's essential. The universe has a way of guiding us, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, but always purposefully. If these words resonate with you, it's no coincidence. You were meant to hear them. Something inside you is awakening, a deeper wisdom rising to the surface. If you trust this inner knowing and follow it, you'll enter a new chapter where everything begins to make sense. What happens when you finally take control of your life? Fully aware of these signs? What shifts when you stop holding on to the past and start welcoming what's meant to be? A powerful awakening is coming, one that could transform everything you thought you knew. It won't just change your circumstances, you'll expand your consciousness. You'll align with a reality where peace, clarity, and authenticity become your new foundation. This is just the beginning of something extraordinary. Stay curious, stay open. The journey ahead is not just about growth, it's about transformation. You're not alone on this path. If you feel called to continue your personal evolution, walk with us. There's much more to discover. We'll meet again soon, and together, we'll keep growing. expanding and stepping into the truth of who we truly are.